Hey, I'm Nate Savage with Guitario.com, and in this video, I wanted to share with you 10 fancy guitar chords for beginners. I call them, fancy for beginners because they're all really cool chords that I didn't learn until later in my guitar career, but they're all based on your basic open chords. So I wanted to share them with you so you can start incorporating them into your playing. Now, if you don't have your basic open chords down and you need some help with that, check out the link in the description or below this video for the beginner guitar starter kit. That's going to help you out a lot. All right, let's go ahead and get started with this first chord. It is based off of an open D major chord. And all it is the D major 7 chord. So it's going to give you a little bit jazzier sound. A major 7 chord is when you take the root, this root right here, this D note, and just lower it by 1/2 step. So what you end up doing is just barring the top 3 strings. So you can play it like this, like an A chord moved over. But just bar the top 3 strings, and that's all you have to do. You just change that one note to get a D major 7 chord. And just like your open D chord, don't play the low E or A string. So you go from this open D major to a D major 7. Pretty mellow sounding, pretty jazzy. The next chord is kind of based on the same D shape, and we're gonna make a D6. Now, a 6 chord is when you just take the 6th note of a major scale and add it to a major chord. So we're gonna kind of continue this trend. We started with a D, a D major 7. What we're gonna do is take this middle note right here on that B string and lower it 2 frets, and all you have to do to make that happen is let that open B string ring out. So you're just going to be fretting those 2 notes you would of a D chord. You're just basically taking your 3rd finger off and letting that B string ring out open. And then again, just play the top 4 strings, and that is a D6. So it's a good way to kind of practice this is to just go from a D, D major 7, and then a D6. Next chord, C major 7. I really like this one because it's super easy to make. If you know how to make an open C major chord, all you have to do, remember I said to make a major 7 chord, you just have to take a root note of whatever chord you're playing, whatever major chord you're playing, and lower it by 1/2 step. This is a root note right here with your index finger. All you have to do is take that C note, lift it up, play the open B string. B is 1/2 step below C. So you end up going from a C major, regular C major, to a C major 7. To give you a chord to go along with that C major 7, let's learn an F major 7. And a lot of people struggle with like an F bar chord. And sometimes this chord that I'm going to show you can be substituted for that F major 7, depends what key you're in. But if you're in the key of C major, you could totally use this. You just have to make sure it sounds good with whatever melody you're playing over, right? And make sure it fits. But C major 7. Now if you want to make it F major 7, all you have to do, top 4 strings just right in a row. So 3rd finger, 3rd fret, the D string, then go back 1 fret, next string over, 2nd finger, 2nd fret of the G string, your 1st finger is going to grab the 1st fret of the B string. That's just an F major triad. You can use that for your F chord if you like instead of a bar chord. And then the open high E string puts a major 7 in there because it's a 1/2 step below the root. There's an F right there, 1/2 step below. So just play the top 4 strings, don't worry about the low E or A. And switching back and forth between a C major 7 and an F major 7 is a really good chord progression. F major 7. Back to C major 7. The next couple of chords we're going to go over are based off of an open A major chord. And the first one is an A7, and you may know this already, but this is just kind of a stepping stone to get to the next chord we're going to talk about. So let's go ahead and go through an A7. It's really easy. If you can make an open A major, all you have to do is lift your middle finger off to put a G note in there. That open G string. Really good for the blues, right? Instead of an A, regular A, you're going to blues it up a little bit, just take that middle finger for the open G. Now, in addition to this, the next chord we're learning is an A13. This is one that I didn't learn until much later in my guitar journey, and all you have to do is add the 13th note, or if you get to the octave, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 is the 6th note of a major scale. So if you have your A7, 6th note of an A major scale is going to be an F sharp, just right here with your pinky. So all you have to do to make an A7, and then put your pinky down on the 2nd fret of the high E string. And you can tell how that gets a lot more funky. Just more funky than just a regular A, right? A7, A13. Next chord, an E add 9 power chord. And I like to think of this just as a regular power chord. E and a B, right? Now if you do a 3-note version of a power chord with another E in there, another root, if you throw a note that's 1 step higher than that note in this chord, that's the 2nd note of the scale, or the 9. It's kind of a little bit more moody, a little bit more vibey than just playing a regular E power chord, right? The cool thing about this is it feels just like you're making like a B power chord right here. Only throwing in that low E string, so it's really easy to use. You can do the same thing on an A. So A is the 5th and then the 9th on top. And you just go back and forth between those. That's a great way to start using that. And it's movable. Even though it is a bigger stretch. This next chord is one I use a lot, but I didn't know for probably the first 3 or 4 years that I played guitar. All it is a C major. But you're gonna put the 5th in the bass. You have a G right here that you can use that sounds really good. Normally I don't really like the 5th and bass on open chords, but for some reason the C sounds really good. It sounds really rich. And what I have to do is I put my 3rd finger over to the low E string on that G note, and then my pinky comes and takes the place of that C note that I was using. And I particularly like this when I'm in like the key of G. Get some thick strumming. I really like the way that sounds. And the next chord is what I call a D up. It's just a version of a D chord that uses this exact same shape. You're just gonna move it up 2 frets to where your pinky is on a D. And you can call this like a 9, D9 sus4, something like that, whatever you want. Or 9, 11. So all you're doing is taking this shape, moving it up 2 frets. It doesn't always work in every key that has a D major in it, but in the key of like G, C, it sounds really good. The last chord I want to show you is one of my favorite chords, but I have 2 versions of it for you. The first one is easier to play, the second one's a little tougher. So it's based off of an open E shape. You can make that open E. All you have to do is put the 2nd scale degree, or the add 9, 8, 9, octave 9. And there is an F sharp right there. That is the 2nd note in the E major scale. So all you have to do is make an E major chord and put your pinky down on that 2nd scale degree, the F sharp, the 2nd fret of the high E. So that's a really easy way to make it. If you want just a different color, if you're playing an E major chord, so there's an E, add 9, regular E. That's the first version. The second version is a lot harder to play because it's a bigger stretch, but I like it more just because you're basically taking the 9 right here, that F sharp, and moving it right there to the 4th fret of the D string. That's a good ending chord if you're playing a song in the key of E. It's a good ending chord. So those are 10 chords that I wish somebody had taught me and explained to me when I was first starting to play guitar, because they're kind of easy. They're based on all those open shapes that you probably already know. And again, if you need help with making these chords sound clean, or getting the transitions down, you can always check out that link for the beginner guitar starter kit below this video. I'll see you later.